Shout out to all the people on the 4 a.m. crew. I'm catching up with y'all. We locking in, we focused.
It's what's inside. The Lord said to Samuel, "Do not look on his appearance or the height of his stature, because I have rejected him. For the Lord sees not as man sees. Man looks on the outward appearance, but the Lord looks on the heart."
Hi there. It's current.
I've learned that the world is always going to be loud. Conflict doesn't knock, it just exists. Opinions, tension, competition, chaos. It's woven into everything. For a long time, I thought strength meant pushing against all of it, fighting every current, reacting to every spark. But what I've come to understand is quieter than that. Real strength, at least for me, has been learning how to observe my surroundings without letting them move into me. I can study the storm without becoming the storm. I can acknowledge the noise without carrying it home. There's a certain discipline in not absorbing everything and blocking out what doesn't serve the mission. And the mission, for me, has never really changed. It's to keep becoming, to keep refining, to keep stepping closer to whatever my highest self looks like in that season. That takes focus. It takes guarding my energy like it matters, because it does. I notice that when I let the world dictate my mood or direction, I drift. But when I return to center, everything sharpens again.
Yep. Everything's asleep.
That's the part of why I train my core the way I do. Abdominal work used to be aesthetic in my mind. Now it feels foundational. When I brace under a heavy load, there's something symbolic about it. It's practice for life. Strengthening the midsection is strengthening the place that stabilizes everything else. When my center is strong, my lifts improve. My posture changes. Even the way I carry myself shifts. And mentally, it's the same principle. If my inner core is solid, pressure doesn't collapse me. It tests me, sure, but it doesn't own me. I've also realized how important it is to be dynamic. There were seasons where I clung to versions of myself that had already expired. Routines that once built me started limiting me. Mindsets that protected me began shrinking me. The hardest transitions weren't physical, they were internal. Accepting that growth requires letting go. Accepting that evolution demands discomfort. But over the years, with enough reps in the gym and in life, I built tools, awareness, patience, discipline, and those tools make new seasons less intimidating. Hopefully this thing is on. Anyway, it's pretty cool. It's like 4 of the people in here. I didn't expect anybody to be here at 4 a.m. When I got here, nobody was here. I'll say about 10 minutes. I hadn't even started. 3 or 4 people walked in. So that 4 a.m. crew, these are the people that's out here getting it. I'm trying to catch up with them. There's a quiet confidence that comes from knowing you put in the time, that you didn't rush the process, that you earned your adaptability. I don't feel the need to announce growth anymore. I just feel it in how I respond instead of react, in how I shift when it's time, and how I stay open to becoming better, more whole, more effective. I'll do this for 3 rounds, and then I'm going to get onto the pin loaded lateral and superset that with the um, reverse pec deck for my rear delts, and do that for a couple rounds, and then I'll jump into my 30 minutes of cardio, and I'll put that on the incline, usually as high as I can go, and I'll hold on to the rails, but more of like a hiking. So I liken it to hiking with a stick, if you will. So gets the heart rate up, and I can burn probably like, say, like maybe 300 calories. And that's how I'm gonna be attacking my flab. So second round right now. If there's anything that lasts, I think it's this understanding. I don't have to conquer the world to thrive in it. I just have to stay centered within it. Keep building from the inside out. Keep adjusting when the season changes. Keep doing the quiet work that strengthens body and mind. And maybe that's the legacy. Not noise, not force, but the steady evolution of someone who chose again and again to grow. Sometimes I wonder if the real battle was never out there at all. If the conflict I kept preparing for was just a mirror for the parts of me that were still unsettled. The world didn't need to calm down. I did. The noise didn't need to disappear. I needed to decide what deserved entry. And the strangest realization has been this: peace isn't something I found after becoming stronger. It's something I had to allow in order to become stronger. The discipline, the training, the evolution, they weren't weapons. They were invitations. Invitations to meet myself without armor. Maybe that's the part no one talks about. That after years of building muscle, resilience, structure, and strategy, the most powerful shift isn't becoming harder. It's becoming softer in the right places. Strong enough to withstand impact, but open enough to keep feeling. Structured enough to hold weight, but flexible enough to bend without breaking. I used to think becoming my ultimate self meant adding more strength, more knowledge, more intensity. Now I'm starting to see it might also mean subtracting what was never truly mine. The fear, the noise, the urgency to prove. What's left feels quieter, but it feels permanent. A life built on what actually fits me isn't flashy. It's a rhythm that doesn't demand self-betrayal, a pace my body can keep, a standard that isn't secretly begging to be praised. From the outside, it might look smaller. From the inside, it's the first thing that doesn't feel like hypnosis. So that's superset. I'm going to do it one more round and then jump into my cardio. But this is kind of like a low impact day because I'll have another all on shoulder day that I likely do with arms, so shoulders and arms later in the week. But I like days like this because they're a little bit low impact. They get my muscles conditioned, start setting them up for that nice separation, muscular separation that I love. And this hot coffee is helping me kick that thermogenic process in too.
Sometimes I look at my life and realize half of it was built on reactions, not choices, just reflex, stimulus, response. Someone expects, I deliver. Something pings, I answer. The world moves, I brace. It's not mind control in a sci-fi way. It's quieter. Algorithms learning what keeps my nerves lit. Rooms where everyone performs certainty so no one has to admit they're tired. Traditions I never agreed to but still carry like debt. Lately, the only thing that feels honest is asking, in real time, do I actually want this thought in my head right now? Do I believe this urgency or do I just inhale it? Is this drive or just fear dressed up as ambition again? Where I start from, things fall off fast. Certain goals stop making sense. Certain rooms feel unlivable. Certain performances die on contact with the question, who am I if no one is watching?